Side note update before we get rolling on today's video. I found this little baby on the road today and all the snow out there. We got some really crazy snow in Michigan today and she was running in traffic and she is a super sweet girl. So if we can't find her owners, she's going to get added to the collection of puppers at home. So say hi to new baby. Hi baby. All right guys, we're out here on the in construction shooting table I never finished last year but does the job. I've got some targets down range about 50 yards. There's one still hanging by one chain at about 198ish yards, give or take there. We'll see what we can do. I haven't zeroed this optic or anything. The irons should be good. I've never touched them, you know. I'm assuming they were on from the factory unless somebody messed with them. But it's cold, it's crummy. It's a slushy time of year here, so let's get to it. Sorry, probably won't be a lot of this, but I'm gonna have fun either way, hopefully. The first time with one of these. And it did not pick up next round. Huh. Okay, so the iron's on, so I was just okay. Okay, that time I started to take it in. Could be gas, but I just think it's an issue coming back over the mag. Does not seem to like the steel mag. Okay, we're back out here trying again. So in the house I tried this one. This is one of the I believe it's KCI, or who the hell is this? AC Unity. This is AC Unity's quad stack. This won't fit unless you take some of the material away below the lug. It seems like it really likes a lug and then like a flat down surface. If there's any like bulk top material underneath that. So this one here had some little like Rudy doodads. I just kind of smoothed it out with a file real quick and it fits like a glove. So these are the UTGs. Hopefully it'll run because it's going to have perfectly uniform lips, obviously, because it's a polymer mold. Where, like I said, this one, you can see the right side lip was higher. So let's pop a few rounds in there and see what happens. Oh yeah, like a glove there. All right, we're on safe. Nope, still not picking up a round. It's really, they're all just nosediving right into that feed lip. Just not enough ass behind that bolt to come back. All right, here's something I want to try too. I want to try taking that gas back down to 1. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Well, ran the rest of that mag. Still scooting along the top on that right side. So something is interesting about that. So these mags clearly could use a little more filing to fit right. Or a break-in period. It is obviously a very particular gun. Ran that too. Okay. And as you can see, I'll bring this over to show you guys. I don't know how well the camera's going to go focus on this, so I'm trying to give it a minute there. But it's flattening out the top of this side, right along the tip. I don't know if you guys can see that. This edge, still very sharp. This edge has got a pretty clear, flat. So something is skirting right across that, and that's what needed to break in a bit there. So, food for thought on that one. All right, we're back inside. It's quite a bit warmer. This is a bit later in the evening now. Had to run some errands, but got myself a little... So let's get right into it. Pop it on the table and give this thing a breakdown and see what's going on. All right, guys, so here is our SIG 556XI in 7.62 by 39, otherwise known, I believe, don't quote me on this, as the SIG 556 Russian. Now, this guy here is kind of like unobtainium now. This whole series of rifles, these 550 series guns, they're really, really neat piston-driven guns. My understanding of some of the series, there's shorter and longer ones. They're obviously military variants that are full auto machine guns. Some had springs and buffer systems behind the bolt, and some had the system you see here, which is a encapsulated spring, setting the bolt back and slingshotting it back, pulling it back essentially like a rubber band. The system is very, very neat, very, very cool. It never really caught on here in America. It had some issues, I do believe. The more I dive into it, the research I've done, searching for things, searching for parts, it just seems like this series of rifle was launched here, and then obviously it was developed over there in Switzerland. The receivers and parts came in from Switzerland. Some parts were USA made, I believe, and it was assembled here. Later, around 2017, according to the information I found, this series of rifles was discontinued stateside. It is still in current production overseas. They are still being imported as well, and they are very, very expensive, whether you find one that was previously assembled here or whether it's one of these new imports coming in through some of these like niche dealer markets that importers are getting. Now, from tip to butt, I don't know if you guys can see this, so I'll slide it over for the camera a bit. You got a three-prong. Three-prongs are pretty nice. Nowadays, most of these three-prongs you're seeing that people are doing are various different lengths. When they're all even, you get kind of a... it's not going to do it. But you generally get like a ring, a ping. And this one I did not particularly notice doing it. But three-prongs are generally fairly nice flash hider. Other than that, it's not going to do a whole friggin' lot there. I am not sure of the thread on this. Like I said, this is one of the first ones these I've ever touched. So it could be 1/2 by 28, could be 5/8 by 24, and it also could be some sort of Swiss something or other. I have had old like Galeals and things that had weird thread pitches and stuff on them. Moving back, you go into a tapered pencil barrel. So it's thick up here on the inside, tapers down out here, and then thick again for some threads and a little back plate there. I do wish they had kept the meat on that. I know they did this to make it a light gun. It is overall a very light, nice feeling gun, which I think is one of its best features. But just for the sake of cutting and SBRing and stuff like that, I just think the contour, if it was just straight bull barrel, it would have been a lot easier to work with, you know, in that respect. I do know that from my research, there was 10-inch and 14.5-inch replacement barrels. I do not know if they ever came to fruition because of the market for this, but they're pretty much unobtainium now. Moving back from there, you have the adjustable gas system. The adjustable gas system, according to SIG in their manufacturing documents, has 2 settings. It's kind of an interesting system. If you look at the port coming from the firearm barrel itself, it seems like it has 3 holes, a main hole in the center and 2 smaller port holes on the side. Now, when this is engaged in one position, 2 of those ports are getting gas, and engaged in the other, 1 port is getting gas, but mine seems to have 3 settings. So that other setting, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this one was a later model that came with a suppressed setting, but as I was sitting there rotating them and seeing and sort of figuring where they would be, it seems like it's missing a notch. Like you could put another notch in it where there would be just a singular piston to piston open area. I don't know how that would run. Maybe I'll play with that later and notch that in there. But I digress. The system seems to work okay, although I can honestly say I did not feel a ton of difference in the adjustment there. The sights are very nice. They co-witness with a standard like AR height type optic with a riser. This is a primary arms with the ACS reticle. This is the SLX MD25. They co-witness with that. I actually popped this right on there, took a couple of shots. We weren't hitting, popped these right up, and could see that, you know, the alignment was just slightly to the left and got me right on. So these, you know, pretty nice backup sights. They don't pop up on their own. They're a little bit chunky for the era now, but at their time, I'm sure that was kind of the bee's knees, you know. The handguard itself is a 2-piece. The top monolithic area here goes all the way back to the end of the upper receiver, and it kind of reminds me of the stuff you're seeing for MP5s now, where it's a big bolt-on piece that goes over the top of the MP5 and then puts a handguard out front. This lower section of the handguard slides on a rail on each side, slides onto the top part, and then this index is down in the middle and that pin goes through, so that's not coming off on you. It does not have M-lock on the bottom, it has M-lock on the sides. This one actually had some holes drilled into it, and that just happened to line up with a Picatinny rail, so I figured that's what the previous owner had done. So I put a little vertical grip out there for myself, and I think it looks pretty good and feels pretty good. Which is good because there's really not a whole lot of aftermarket for this particular firearm, especially the XI never really got the aftermarket treatment that the others did. The receivers, very nice, metal upper and lower. The bolt here, you can see has like a indent for your finger. You depress this part of the bolt here and you can remove the charging handle on the other side. And then you are able to switch it. There's a side that says up. So you just pop that back in on the upside. And now you have it like you standard would on the right hand side. You can move it to the right or the left. Very tactile and nice feeling safety. The lower itself is sort of reminiscent to me of like metal HK lowers, MP5s or things of that nature, HK91s. This up here is pretty nice stuff. It looks cool, has a cool clean look to it. And I will say the bolt mechanism itself is like clean Cadillac smooth, very nice. Magazines wise, this gun is very picky. I have noticed the previous owner that brought it into the shop said the same thing. He had a bunch of Tapcos. He said that was the best one he had found to run in it. I don't know if SIG had some proprietary 5.56 mags at some point. I did a little Googling and it seemed like they had their own sort of version of a slab side. They are black and smooth, total unobtainium again. So finding things to fit this is a little bit tricky. One thing I have noticed, I will show you later, is that magazines seem to ride the bolt a bit on one side, and that is kind of due to the bolt design inside of this gun, and I'll show you that as well as we get into that. The trigger on these guns is very good. I like it. I enjoy it. It's my first experience with one, but I enjoy it. So it's kind of like a springy, strange take-up area. And we will, of course, check clear. And there's a springy sort of take-up area where you just feel like there's clear resistance against you. I wouldn't know the weight offhand, maybe 6-7 pounds or so. And then once you hit this pin plunger, that's when the magic happens. Boom. And I do believe that's how the engagement works. I'm not positive on this. Like I said, this is my first time messing around with these. And I imagine that's probably adjustable in and out. Very neat. You can probably get some really nice little fine tuning going on there. Now, the stock is a nice hard polymer. It's clearly plastic, but it's hard and does not feel shitty. This is a removable pop-on. Let's see here. It's kind of similar to your mag pulls and stuff. just a clip-on. It has a really nice look to it. The button is on the other side, push button, and you can lock it up really nice. It is quite stiff to get off. Gotta give it a nice yank there. AK paddle control, decent grip. Kind of looks like an AK grip, but you can't use your AK grips because of that scalloped cut there, so they are specific. You do have a bolt hold. You can lock it all the way back. And other than that, that is about all for this gun. How to break it down is fairly simple, and it is an incredibly simple system. 2 pins, and on your earlier models, I believe the front was not a pin. The front was actually a screw. Oh, come on. There we go. So similar to an AR-15 with 2 takedown pins, you separate your upper and lower, and there's your fire control unit down there and safety. Very, very well built, very clean, lightweight, but very strong feeling. You can see here, this is a replaceable steel shelf. This is probably all aluminum, and it seems like they put a tactile piece of replaceable, very strong steel there to interlock with your magazines, and probably that way it never wear out. And if it did wear out, this little chunk would be replaceable. So neat little things they thought about there. And then to strip down your upper, you would remove that. You would come over here and simply press in the pin on the front of the gas block, which is easy to do with your finger. Rotate your gas block into the up position, and then this should come out, and if not, you can shake it about a bit and it should come out. And then your bolt carrier should come right out the back end. Let me lay everything out here without making too big of a mess. So your gas system, as I said, there's 3 holes. And 3 holes indexing inside there. At one point, it seems like 2 are indexed, and another point at 3. So not quite sure on how that system totally functions and regulates. It would have been cool if there was some aftermarket for this, because I feel like depending upon and how it engages, you could have put a lot of little holes in the system and had several positions, like made a 6-position gas block or something, or just gas plug for that, and had a lot more adjustment. That wouldn't be a hard piece to manufacture or tool yourself if you had some skills either. So now the bolt carrier itself is sort of reminiscent of the bolt face itself. I'm sorry, is reminiscent of an AR, not too unsimilar, and then at the same time kind of similar to an AK. Just rotates itself and locks in there. Simple yet elegant system there. Now the part I was talking about, if I can remove this here, as I said, when this is going across the magazines, it's this lower shelf part here that rides the extractor or ejector, I believe, because this would be the extractor, that'd be the ejector inside the gun. As I was saying, it rides this rail, and this piece in front is slightly tapered down and curved, but I just don't think it has enough to it. I think you can kind of see it there on camera, maybe. They have a slight taper and curve to the end of it, but that is what is coming across here, and this, as this is trying to scoop around, you see, it'd be, indexing like that. So this part here is coming through here and scooping around out of the magazine, and then at the same time that is fighting with the surface of that said magazine. So I have messed with a few other magazines and found that it's always sort of the same story, like AK, metal, or otherwise. You can see the peen on the back there was just from playing with it a few times, and it's gonna do that until it batters that out of the way. So obviously we could smooth the backs on the right side, facing this way. The right side, you could smooth these backs over, and that would obviously make that run better, but it sucks that we have to do that. And or potentially smooth this out and polish this out, but this is a fairly thin piece here, and this is your bolt carrier. So if you ruin your bolt carrier, you're kind of SOL. I don't think these are probably very common or easy to obtain. But yeah, you know, it is a really, really fun gun. I really enjoy it, and I really want it to work well. I just think, obviously, it had some development hurdles. Most guns of that era that were trying to do the 7.62 thing had problems. The early 7.62 ARs had a lot of extraction and ejection issues. It's like any of these ones that you see that they throw something together and it doesn't quite work right. You see a lot of these 450 Bushmaster or 350 Legend guns now that ammo is getting cockeyed in the tubes because it's just, you know, it wasn't built for that shape of round, the chambering and stuff like that, you know. So unless you get a quality company that's really behind it, like working out all the bugs, they're just sometimes, you know, beating it into submission. And I'm not saying that's what they did here. This is a rather refined system. I just think probably the 7.62 system may not have been as elegant. You know, I don't think 7.62 AK mags were ever designed to be elegant. I'm sure this system probably functions a lot better in 5.56. And the original SIG guns were Rock and Lock 5.56 mags that were SIG manufactured. So that being said, I'm sure that proprietary system was probably the best functioning of them all. I can't really speak to experience with that because, like I said, this is the only one I've been able to get my hands on. So hopefully we can work out the kinks with this one. I just have to make a deal with the guy and hopefully take it off his hands. It was fun shooting it today. But hopefully as things go in the future, maybe we can get our hands on one of the 5.56 models and talk more about that. We shall see. I'm not a rich guy. Would like to be a rich guy, but not a rich guy. So this is what we got for now. All right, guys, thank you very much. Have a good one. I hope you had fun. I hope you found this a little bit educational and interesting. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Catch you on the flip.